Hello and good morning out there, traders. It is June 10th, 2024, and welcome to the Apteros Daily Market Insight. Taking a look at our recap here, our last actual prep was on the 6th, and we had built out this line in the sand in this area, and we were talking about how we were out in the all-time highs type of zones and looking for a possible continuation of the upside or a pullback into this zone. And it ended up taking 2 days to play out, but we ended up seeing that particular trade workout coming into some news on Friday, and then the holds down below here releasing to the upside, giving us a pretty good move to the upside. Not really quite getting out into our target area, which gives you a kind of an inclination of what's going on out here. We are building value out here. So it's essentially rotational on our lower time frames, and we're seeing more value being built out in this particular zone. So that's going to kind of play into what's going on today. So let's take a look at what's going on. Overall today we're a lot more neutral on the ES in general, mainly because there's just a lack of confluence with what's happening on the upper time frames. So the clarity isn't quite there. However, we do have a pretty decent line in the sand for the short-term environment. In other words, we could look at this kind of as a neutral level and using the acceptance picture to look for bearishness or bullishness around that area. Right now, with the way the move is at this point, definitely a little bit more bearish around this particular neutral reference, and that would be the immediate read right now. So scenario one being a hold below that, looking for some neutral targets down below that. Scenario two being a break back up above it with the immediate target right here, and then anything in terms of continuation just starts reaching out into higher expectations like we had before. But personally, just looking at this analysis altogether, this would be kind of the first neutral target I'd be looking to go for. And then if we got up above there, obviously you got to pay attention to where highs are. And that would be, any continuation up above there would be for a very, very bullish type of scenario. Now, overall here, it's not the best in terms of confluence and narrative and the things we look for our defining context in the ES market. So overall, I'm giving today a lot more of a neutral tag in the overall context. And with that being said, a lot of this can be looked at as more of a scalping level environment. Not that there won't be a big move or something like that won't happen. It's more or less just a good idea in the analysis for how Nadro kind of develops. Whenever there is a lack of clarity between all of the time frames, usually we keep expectations a little bit more short term, just so that we stay on the safer side of getting favorable excursion from trade locations or any type of environment that we're trading at the time. So it's one of those things where taking a look at a very neutral type of environment, it's essentially, as Merritt once told me, it's like scalping between neutral references is kind of the overall tactic that we look to employ in situations like this. Now, obviously, nothing crazy here for the context or the narrative or anything like that. We have a pretty straightforward line in the sand here for today that I've identified, and that would be overall we're looking to set up our scenarios around with our analysis. All right, so trade well out there. Mind your risk. Remember, our analysis is scenario one to the downside, scenario two to the upside. We have neutral levels in between to use as targets and possible continuations and so forth. Trade well, mind your risk, and let's get after it.